Why? Why is this a thing? I have no idea. This is certainly a development that we did not expect, but here we are anyways. So let's get straight into it. So welcome everyone back to this Thursday stream news for Vanguard. It's Professor 095, now 095 here. Yikes, grade 4 Drajeweled is actually good. Really good. I don't know why they make him a grade 4, but here we are. So he's getting a grade 4 treatment, which is kind of exciting and not exciting at the same time. Well, not exciting for my wallet, because you know that things are going to get expensive. So let's get straight into the news. So before that, if you are very interested and like what I'm doing right here right now, please hit like and subscribe and stay tuned for more. So what we have right here is Demonic Jiwo True Dragon, Drajeweled Ignis, Maho Shinryu, Drajeweled Ignis. So he's a grade 4, right? So he's getting a grade 4 treatment. And honestly, the art is, I would say, okay-ish. I don't really hate the art per se. It looks very majestic. So other than that, he's a very pretty interesting card to go through with, So the skill is, technically speaking, if we can just refresh our page for a bit. This card, first skill is that this card can only be ridden from a unit with Drajeweled its card name, so you cannot ride it from anything else. So your Vanguard has to be originally a grade 3 Drajeweled, similar like the Mascus restriction. Okay. So that's the first skill. Second skill, at the beginning of your battle phase, choose 2 cards from your drop zone and put them into your soul. Then if your soul has 4 or more cards with different grades, all of your front row units gets 15k until the end of turn, which is pretty good, pretty solid, right? Very insane. Third skill, auto, when this ability's cost will be paid, a card with Drajeweled in its card name in your soul may be soul blast as any grade from 0 to 4. So when this unit attacks, you soul blast 5 with different grades, of course. You retire all of your opponent's back row real guards, and until end of turn, this unit gets +1 crit and increase or decrease your opponent's power of all of your opponent's front row units to 0, which is pretty insane. Now here's the insane part. Number one, it's fairly consistent because you don't really have to rely on cards such as like Sarkon or Valkates to help you like fill in your soul for that different grade requirement. So at every time the battle phase begins, you can just shove in practically almost anything that you're lacking in your soul, and then you just shove it in, which is like pretty nice and it's really consistent. And the fact that this card doesn't really require counterblast is what sells it for me. Not to mention that he is, even though that he's a grade 4, he has triple drive. He doesn't have a persona, right? But his front row units, the 15k to all front row units is already pretty solid enough. So it kind of like makes up for like the lack of like persona power. And not to mention that you have to soul blast 5, so that which is a lot. But at the same time, the insane part is that he still retains the gimmick of Drajeweled of like having the extra crits and also like reducing your opponent's power. But this time around, it's not only the Vanguard, it's all of your front rows, right? So which is like pretty insane. So yeah, it's not one, which makes it like, say for example, if you're swinging for 30k, for example, Drajeweled like 30k. Like last time, your opponent needs to throw out 2 15k shields and it's gonna be like 30 and 1, which is like power 1 higher than you. But if it's like to 0, it's, you have to technically force your opponent to dish out the extra 5k just to guard that, so which is kind of nice, right? And it's, you know, fairly strong, fairly consistent. And if you look at the other support cards that we have that can combo with Drajeweled Ignis, it's already pretty solidly insane. And the fact that you can just like Soul Blast a Drajeweled for like a grade from 0 to, you know, grade 0 to grade 4. So let's say, for example, if you do not have like a grade 4 in your soul, you can practically just Soul Blast your right line Drajeweled, and you can just treat it as a grade 4, right? So which is like pretty nice. And at this point, you can just only play like the only right line Drajeweled, the right line Drajeweled in your deck, and just call it a day, because you don't really have to rely on like the previous Drajewelds, whether it's the TD Drajeweld or the BT7 Drajeweld, or the BT7 Drajeweld, or like the Drajeweld Maskers, just for you to like to have like a different Drajeweld for you to pass it out. The fact that you can only use the right line Drajeweld for you to like do the shenanigans of like soul blasting 4 different grades, it's already pretty good in itself. Not to mention that if you can soul blast a grade 4 Drajeweld, you can, it's there, so insanely good, right? So I've tested this out. I've asked my friends to print this card as well as some of the support cards yesterday, and we've tested it out, and my conclusion: super good, really good. It can kill Gandiva in a certain matchup. It kills Jet in a certain matchup. Drajeweld, not Drajeweld, Willy Star I have yet to be tested. It floors Zolgar, it floors, I've tested, it floors Vermilion, not that Vermilion is much great of an example anyways for a matchup. It floors Abada Grigio. It technically speaking, I've tested this deck yesterday night and kind of like so good because of that, the 28k beat stick towards 0, right? As well as if you combo with like cards such as like Servant from Croatia, which is that grade 2 PR, and now the card is like getting more and more expensive. If you can combo with this card, it actually makes sense, right? Because Servant from Croatia can technically swing for about like 10 plus 15 is 25. So if you shop in the Drajeweld, grade 4 is gonna be like 20k, which means that she's swinging for 45k, which is pretty solid without boost. So if you boost her with like an 8k booster, she's swinging for 53k to your Vanguard 0, to your opponent's Vanguard 0. So which is like it does like so many good things, and it's so consistent and doesn't really require counter blocks and all that shenanigans. It's so good, So I am very afraid that this deck, okay, now to be fair, this deck is already like tier A levels. I'm not sure it's gonna be like considered as a tier S, but I'll call it a tier A because it fixes a lot of like Drajeweld's problem. One being that you can like charge in like a lot of like the different grades already at the beginning of your battle phase without anything that supports it, like from Kate, or like Drajeweld Maskers, in a sense that you have to remove one Drajeweld in its different card name. So already he can shove cards on his own if you don't have any particular cards, right? So which is kind of nice, which is kind of great. So that's yeah, it's gonna be a toll on my wallet. But that aside, speaking of toll in my wallet, we have also like the grade 3 generic Dark States cards, which is the discarding right recyclers for strike, and the grade 3, the writing for the grade 3. So I'm not gonna like super get into detail as to how, but you guys know the requirements. So this is Soul Funeral Dragon Noctelco, Nokutarujo. So it's just generic. The skill is that very generic. If placed on Vanguard or Guardian Circle, if you have a grade 4 Vanguard or reveal grade 4 in your hand, depending on where you place it, then you activate the following abilities. If it's the Rear Guard Circle, you get to counter blast one, which is kind of like iffy for some decks that might use a counter blast, such as like Jet or Jet and Drajeweld or Bruce. But I mean, counter blast for Jet is probably not a huge problem. Drajeweld probably not a huge problem. Bruce probably yes. But you can get to draw one card, and you can choose 2 cards from your drop zone and put them to your soul, which makes it good for technically all of the grade 4 decks so far. for Bruce, Chronojet, and Drajeweled, because you can technically use them for like Soul Blast, for example, in the terms of Jet. You can Soul Blast for GG to draw one, or you can, in the case of Bruce, you have enough souls for you to Soul Blast 5. In the case of Drajeweled, you can just use it for like different cuts in your soul, so different grades in your soul, which is also kind of nice. And then the Guardian Circle is just basically plus 50 shield, which is self-explanatory. And then after that, the one generic is that if discarded for riding a grade 3 from the right deck or for strike, you get to draw one. So technically, I can kiss Balif goodbye if I want to play this in Chronojet. Technically, Balif is a good buy, So in a sense that, if I play this in Chronojet, most of the time I might not be using the plus 15k shield, because the only time when I'm in grade 4 is that I'm in striding, which is during my turn, not during opponent's turn. So which is kind of a bummer, but I can at least use the rearguard for like counter plus 1, Then again, people will argue is that like they will still have to keep Balif because Balif is still a 23k beat stick. This one is technically not, but you can just technically just discard this for strike and still do the same thing like Balif, But the thing is, the nicest thing about like replacing Balif is that if you discard this card, let's say if you have 2 of this card in your hand and you discard by riding Chronojet, you can get draw one. If you search a grade 3, if you search him from your deck and add it to your hand, you discard it for strike and you still get to draw one. So in one turn you can draw 2, which is technically speaking, it's like a good replacement for Balif. So in a personal sense, I would say that I would play this card. I would kiss Balif goodbye because it's not that useful anymore. It's not that I can call up Balif to attack anyways. And under some certain unless I'm driven into such weird circumstances that I have to call up Balif to attack. But it's not too bad anyways, because Balif is technically a 23k attacker. So if he's at GB2 and I get to bot deck opponent's rearguard, he's still a 33k beat stick. But nonetheless, I would say this card is technically better. I would say, not to say that Balif is shit at this point, but he is a better option at this point. So that's not Helgo. For Drajeweled, support cards, we have Horse Slash Tracker Kid. So Horse Slash Tracker Kid is technically a great one. He's a rare. So the skill is that when this unit is placed on a rearguard circle, you counter plus 1, you look at the top 7 cards of the deck, you choose up to 1 grade 4 Drajeweled in this card name, and then from among them, you reveal it, then you add to your hand, and then you shuffle your deck. If you did not reveal, you can reveal 1 grade 4 card from your hand. And if you do, or if you have a grade 4 or greater Vanguard with Drajeweled in this card name, you get to draw 1 card, right? So this is technically your Drajeweled searcher, your grade 4 Drajeweled searcher, as usual. So technically speaking, like it's some of like the similar like those grade 4 searchers with the promos, or some of the support cards like Amelia, for example, I would say. Or not Amelia, it's technically not Amelia, it's like something like the Impediment Slasher where you can search your deck for grade 4. But this time around, this one is like have to counter blast 1. I mean, some decks we have to use counter blast 1. Some cards we use counter blast 1. Impediment Slasher and the Kyrie Grade 4 Searcher. This one is also like a counter blast 1. But this time around, you don't search your deck. At least for the time being, you just look at the top 7. I mean, look, top 7 is already pretty enough already. But even if you don't, you don't get to add a grade 4 Drajeweled in your hand. If you have a Drajeweled in your hand, you reveal it and then you get to draw 1 card, is also pretty nice, right? So it doesn't really punish you for like losing something, So this is a very good rare card, so which is kind of nice. For Hot Slash Tracker Kid. Now for Demonic, this one is a grade 2. So he's the name is Demonic Lancer, so Extermination Zargan. So he's a grade 2. He's a double rare. Support for Drajeweled. So the skill is that when this unit is placed on the rearguard circle during your main phase, you may soul charge 1. Okay, you can choose to soul charge 1 whether or not you want to do it or not. You choose up to 1 grade 4 card from your hand and reveal it. If you do, or if your Vanguard is a grade 4 or greater Drajeweled, you choose up to 1 card with a different card name from this unit and grade less than or equal to your Vanguard from your soul and call it to rearguard circle, right? So at the end of that turn, you put that call unit to your soul, and that's it. And then second skill, continuous rearguard circle. If your Vanguard if you have a Vanguard with Drajeweled in this card name, this unit gets boost. Now, technically speaking, he's good in some sense because the fact that he's like your, he can technically soul charge for you if you like lacking something. But technically speaking, you don't really need like a lot of like soul charge per se, because if you have like good relevant cards or already, if you like enough cards in your drop zone, I think Grade 4 Drajeweled can help to fix your problems, you know, of like, you know, filling in the souls of or the grades that you are kind of lacking. So the soul charge one is kind of weird, but I think you can choose not. Again, you can choose not to soul charge, right? Then the good thing is that you can technically, what I said just now is technically like a field filler, technically speaking, to fill your board, and for free, right? Technically speaking. So if you can call this one during your main phase, you can call a Grade 4. If your Vanguard is Grade 4 to the rear guards, call. Otherwise, you can call anything else. You can call the Grade 3, Grade 2, Grade 1, Grade 0, whatsoever on the field. But at the end of the turn, the card has to go into your soul, which is, you know, kind of like feels impact whatever you're calling. You know, whatever you're lacking, so that's kind of nice. And he's technically like a 10k, you know, 20k booster, which is kind of nice. Now, is this card necessary? I've tested this card yesterday, you know, and I found out that this card is not too useful in certain situations. The rest of the support cards in, you know, for revealing for this Thursday night is more necessary than this card. So, not to mention that if you are talking about like, there's like a lot of like good Grade 2 cards that you can play in Drajeweled anyways, right? So like Rock Argur is technically very stable for a lot of like Drajeweled decks. Emposa is also like very stable. After that, you have like a Summon from Croatia, which is also very good. So it is also like space issues, but then after I play tested it yesterday, this card is not that useful. I would say you can technically not play him, and it'll still be fine. So it's okay. It's not a bad skill. It's calling out cards for free. And it's a free boost, you know, free 20k booster. But I felt like, I guess it's overshadowed by other good cards, you know. So, meh. It's a meh card, right? He's a double rare too, so it's pretty meh. But yeah, it's not what I needed. Not most players would need it. They've told me the same thing, that this card, the previous Grade 2 card, is not that nice. After that, we have Wise Demonic Lording Vapular. So Vapular is a Grade 1. He's a double rare. So the skill is that auto rear guard circle, when you swap plus 4 or more and more cards at the same time for the cost of your Vanguard's ability, you can put this unit to your soul and draw 1 card. Then you choose up to 1 Grade 4 card from your hand and reveal it. If you reveal a card, or if you have a Grade 4 greater Vanguard with Drajeweled in its card name, you choose one of your rear guards, and if your rear guard did not stand by a card ability during this turn, you stand it. So technically speaking, this is I would say this is a Grade 1 Emposa-ish. So of course it's gonna be awkward if you have like Emposa on your field and you know, if you have Vapular and Emposa at the same time, because one of them has to proc. So if you have Emposa, you will not play Vapular. If you don't have Emposa, you will play Vapular. You can only, I think the better option is that the best scenario is that you have like Rock Argur and like some other random Grade 2s that doesn't have the restand ability, and then you can, you know, proc with Vapular to restand that rear guard that doesn't restand, you know, like, I don't know, Servant from Croatia or something along those lines, right? Or some of the better Grade 2s. This is technically a very good card, I would say. The fact that the first skill is not really tied to any different name, because like some people say that you can play this in Bruce. If you solve plus 4 or more for the Vanguard's ability, you can put himself to soul and draw 1 card, which is technically very good, because the fact that you can also put this card in Grade 4 Bruce and just to move himself and draw 1 card is also pretty welcome. But the additional effects for like Drajeweled is that you can just like restand the rear guard. Is so similar to Emposa, then people have to like see when is the better play for Emposa to, you know, to proc, right? So it's a very good card. Nonetheless, this one is definitely a 4-off on just like Emposa or Rock Argur. So yeah, I would say that is a solid card. I would say for like Grade 4. Yeah, so it's pretty nice for Drajeweled and Bruce, I would say. Yeah, I think that's about it, right? So I've gone through everything for the cards for this Thursday stream. So we are expecting like for next Thursday we will have like just a quick reminder that this Sunday we will have like a Bushiroad presentation stream, which is like technically tomorrow at 1 PM if you're watching on YouTube. After that, you will have the cards that will be revealed. More cards will be revealed in the next Thursday stream as well as the next Tuesday stream, because next Tuesday stream will be going through Youth Perk as well as the new Virina. So just to keeping tab on the schedule. So yes, we'll definitely have a look, right? Because like next Saturday is technically Virina, grade 4, the grade 3 Virina, no Stora Virina, not grade 4 Virina. Okay, anyways, I think I'll end this video right here, right now. So if you have any, if you have any comments about how do you feel about this grade 4 Drajeweled, or anything and that I've mistakenly spoken, or I don't know, like what, if I got some things wrong, please feel free to put down in the comment section below. And tell us how you feel about this whole new support. I feel like I really need to get a cartoon share for this nation, because like there is so many good cards for this nation, for Dark States. Technically Dark States is like pretty good nation to play now. So yeah, what a time to be alive as a Dark States player, but my wallet is crying. So yeah, that's about it. I will see you guys next time. This has been Professor 056 signing off.